Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. Amma ba'du. Then, after a long break for Ramadan and the summer, we return to our reading of the book Al-Qira'at Al-Rashida, the Arabic reader or guided reading in Arabic. And we have reached the 16th reading or story. And this one has to do with Bir al-Walidain. Bir al-Walidain. Bir, we would translate as, say, righteousness or doing good, from ba, ra. Al-Walidain is the plural of walid. Walid is parent or father. Walidan is two parents, right? But because it is mudaf ilay, the righteousness to the parents or of the parents, doing good towards the parents, because it is mudaf ilay, then walidan becomes majroor with a ya. Walidain. Birrul walidain. But if you want to just talk about your father, you could say walid. You want to just talk about your mother, you can say walida. Right? So this story is about righteousness or doing good, having good behavior and character, etiquettes towards the parents. He says, كان رجل له أبوان كبيران وأولاد صغار وكان برا. And again, this should be over here. This is just a typo that they obviously, this company who printed this book have. The fatatain should be over the ra. وكان برا بالوالدين شفيقا على الأولاد. كان, from kana yakunu, right, means was, basically. Rajulun, a man. Basically, there was a man. Lahu, he had, or to him, or for him. This is the same la, like in barakallahu laka. May Allah bless you or give you blessings. May Allah give blessings for you, like this, right? This la, lillahi, same lam, for Allah. Alhamdulillahi, all praises for Allah, belongs to Allah, however you want to translate it. So lahu, for him, to him, belongs to him, he had, probably would be the simplest. Abawani. Ab became abawani, meaning two. You wouldn't say abani, no, abawani. They add that wow there. He had two, basically parents, another word for walid. Even though it sounds like father, and just like walid sounds like father, in actuality, it means parents. He had two parents. Kabirani, older in age. Kabir, meaning big or old, right? Kabirani. And this is an adjective here. So because abawan is dual, kabiran is dual as well. Abawan is dual, kabiran is dual. And abawan is marfu', kabiran is marfu'. It's not kabirain, abawain. It's abawani, kabirani, marfu'. Right? Wa awladun. Awlad is the plural of walid. And a lot of times this creates a difficulty for beginners when listening, beginners to the Arabic language when listening. They see the word walid and walid. And when someone's talking about their walid and they know the word walid, then they confuse them. They think they're talking about their son when they're talking about their father, or vice versa. Because walid and walid, you know, maybe in English we have the ability maybe to be a little country and say son, instead of son, or father instead of father. We have the ability to drag out those words a little bit, while in Arabic, if you drag them out, you prolong one of the syllables, it can change the meaning. So walad, meaning son or boy or child, or walid, meaning father or parent, right? So awlad is the plural of walad, meaning children, right? Awlad, children. Sigar. Sigar is the way of making sagir, plural. Sigar, right? Sagir, small, sigar, plural. And it's an adjective because awlad is plural, and marfu', its adjective must be plural and marfu', right? Lahu abawani kabirani wa awladun sigarun. He had two older parents and small children, young children. Wa kana barran. And he was barran. He was righteous. What was he? He was righteous or good. He had good akhlaq. All of that, whatever bir consists of, right? Kana barran bil walidain. He was righteous to his parents, or to the parents. Shafiqan, from sheen, fa, qaf, meaning to be compassionate, or to have mercy and pity, and so on and so forth. Shafiqan al awladi. He was compassionate on his children. Al awladi. Here we have awlad having a kasra. Why? Because it is after the harf jar, the preposition ala, which makes the noun following it majroor, or genitive. Right? So we read that paragraph again. Kana rajulun lahu abawani kabirani wa awladun sigarun. There was a man, he had two older parents and young children. Wa kana barran bil walidaini shafiqan ala al awlad. And he was righteous towards the parents and compassionate on the children. وكان يذهب كل يوم في الصباح إلى المرعى ويرعى الماشية ويرجع بها في العشاء فيحلبها ويسقي والديه وأولاده الصغار. He says, وكان, and he was, or he would, يذهب, he would go. It was that he would go, يذهب, from ذهب يذهب, he would go كل يوم, every day. كل يوم, right? Whenever we talk about time, al-yawm, al-ams, whenever we talk about it, it's going to be mansub, like that. Whenever we want to mention the time, it's going to be mansub. And everything that comes after kulli is mudaf ilay, it's majroor. So kulla yawmin. Kana yadhhaba kulla yawmin. He would go every day. When would he go? Every day. Fi sabahi, in the morning. Ila al-mar'a. Ila al-mar'a. Mar'a, from ra, ain, ya, or alif maksura. Right? Ra'a. Ila al-mar'a. Mar'a is the pasture. We're probably familiar with the hadith, at least in English. Kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi. All of you are shepherds and all of you are responsible for your flock, right? Kullukum ra'in, right? That's the same word. Ila al-mar'a, to the pasture. Wa yar'a, and he would graze, the same word that we would have from ra'a or ra'in, like shepherd. What do? You graze the sheep. You take them out and you let them eat. Wa yar'a al-mashiyata. Al-mashiya comes from mim, sheen, ya. It means here al-mashiya is cattle. Cattle. كان يذهب كل صباح أو كان كل يوم في الصباح إلى المرعى ويرعى الماشية. What would he graze? What would he take out to the pasture? الماشية مفعول به منصوب. It's the object of the verb, so it's accusative here with a fatha, right? ويرعى الماشية ويرجع, and he would return from رجع يرجع, and he would return biha, with them. This ha referring back to al-mashiyah. He would return with them biha fil isha. Fil isha meaning at the time, at the nighttime. Isha is called isha because it's the nighttime, right? Biha fil isha. He would return at nighttime with them. فَيَهْلِبُهَا. فَيَهْلِبُهَا. This fa is so or therefore, and then the root of the verb is ha lam ba. Hal yahlibuha, from the word halib. Halib, which we're probably most of us familiar with, meaning milk. Halib, right? Fayahlibuha, and he would milk them. Again, the ha referring back to al-mashiyah. He would milk them. وَيَسْقِي. Yasqi from saqiya. Sin, qaf, ya. Meaning to pour. Right? وَيَسْقِي walidayhi. And he would pour basically for his family. For his parents. For his parents. Walidain, as we have it here, became walidayhi. We dropped our noon because we added the ha. Whenever we have a sound plural, such as walidan, or here we'll just say walidain, just to make it more compatible. Walidain. Whenever, this just means the two parents. This just means the two parents. Whereas I want to say his two parents, I have to add the ha for his, or the ka for yours, or kum for yours plural, right? Or a ya for mine. So I would say here, walidayhi, as we have in our text. We drop our noon. Whenever we add something that becomes mudaf ilayh to something which has a sound plural or dual, then we're going to drop our noon. So we say walidayhi. We'll say walidayka or walidayki, right? Man or female. Walidaykum. Right? You're talking to a bunch of people that have kids, they have the same parents. Walidaykum, your parents. Or walidayya. Right? Walidayya. You would drop your noon. Okay? I'm trying to think of another a sound plural, because this is a dual. A sound plural could be, for instance, it may not make enough sense, the word or the context, but inshallah, the idea. We'll say, for instance, mujtahidun. Mujtahidun. Right? Mujtahiduna. If I wanted to say, for instance, the classes, those who strive hard of the class, or the classes mujtahidun, the class of those people who strive hard, right? Then if I want to say it's mujtahidun, I would just say mujtahidu, right? Mujtahiduhu, like this. Or mujtahidihi, if it was in a different context. In the Quran, we have the word Rasulan, when Allah sent two messengers, Rasulan, and then it says Rasulan Rabbik, right? Rabbik, when it appears, it says Rasula Rabbik. So it says Rasula Rabbik. Look it up in the Quran, you will find it like this. Because of the mudaf ilayh, we dropped this noon that was there. Okay? وَيَسْقِي وَالِدَيْهِ, and this is mansoob here. It's accusative because it's the object of who we would be pouring for. Right? So we have the ya for accusative instead of the alif for the nominative or the marfu'. وَأَوْلَادَهُ. Awlad here shows clearly the fatha for the maf'ulun bihi. It's the second object. He would pour for what? His parents and his children. As-sigar. As-sigar is the adjective of awlad. But because awlad became definite with the ha here, now we know it's not just any awlad. It's not just any children. It is awladuhu, his children. Now, like here, he had 2 older parents and young children. Young children is not necessarily known. He just had some. But now we're talking about his young children. So because it is ma'rifa or definite, then the adjective has to be definite. Awlad is definite with the ha. The ha here makes it definite. His children. The alif lam in sigar is what makes a cigar definite. And I hope that's clear. Right? طيب. We'll read this sentence again. He said, وكان يذهب كل يوم في الصباح إلى المرعى ويرعى الماشية ويرجع بها في العشاء. He used to go every day in the morning to the pasture and graze the cattle and return with them at night. فيهلبها ويسقي والديه وأولاده الصغار. And he would milk them and pour, or give to drink, basically, not just pour, but give to drink his parents and his small children. وكان أبواه وأولاده الصغار ينتظرون قدومه. وكان, and this is was, it puts us in the past tense. Abawahu, his parents, as we see. Abawan up here. Now we see abawahu. We just dropped our noon because it is mudaf ilayh, so we drop our noon, as we just explained on this page over here, right? وَكَانَ أَبَوَاهُ وَأَوْلَادُهُ الصِّغَارِ, and his 2 parents and his small children, يَنْتَظِرُونَ قُدُومَهُ. يَنْتَظِرُون, from the root nun, dha, ra. This word, antadara, yantadiru, means to wait or like to anticipate, right? They used to wait or anticipate kudumahu. Kudumahu from qaf, dal, meen, right? Meaning here his coming, his kudumahu, his coming. They used to anticipate his coming home, his arriving home. وَلَا يَنَامُونَ حَتَّى يَحْضُرَ الرَّجُلُ وَيَسْقِيهُمُ اللَّبَنَ. وَلَا يَنَامُونَ, from nama, nama, yanamu. And they would not sleep. لَا يَنَامُونَ, حَتَّى, until, يَحْضُرَ, from ha, da, rad. Ha, dad, ra. Ha, dad, ra. Meaning to arrive or to attend or to be present. Hatta yahdura, and hatta makes the fi'l after it mansoob. Hatta yahdura, until ar-rajulu, until the man arrived or until he was present. They wouldn't sleep until he came home. They wouldn't sleep until he arrived, until he was present. وَيَسْقِيهُمُ الْلَبَنِ. وَيَسْقِي, and he pour for them or provide them to drink, al-laban. Provide what for them? Al-laban. Maf'ulun bihi mansub. Until he poured for them or provided them to drink al-laban. The same word is halib. Today, in the Arab world, if you say laban, you mean a yogurt. You mean like a sour yogurt drink. Whereas halib means milk. But it's the opposite in the hadith texts from what I've read. Usually when they talk about laban, then they mean hadith, and halib meant milk. Halib meant the yogurt drink. However, today, halib means milk, while laban means yogurt. Here, it's being used interchangeably, right? Here, they're being used interchangeably. وَيَسْقِيهِمُ اللَّبَنَ. Labana is accusative. It's the object of what is being poured or served to them to drink, right? So it's maf'ulun bihi mansub. This hat or this dhamma here on this meme is only there for reading purposes. It should be yaskihum or yaskihim, right? Al-laban. But because we have a sukoon here and a sukoon here, then they put that dhamma there for reading purposes. We've had that quite a few times in the past. وَكَانَ أَبَوَاهُ وَأَوْلَادُهُ الصِّغَارُ يَنْتَظِرُونَ قُدُومَهُ. And his two parents and his small children used to anticipate his coming. وَلَا يَنَامُونَ حَتَّى يَحْضُرَ الرَّجُلُ وَيَسْقِيهِمُ اللَّبَنِ. And they would not sleep until the man arrived and he would pour for them to drink the milk. مرة ذهب الرجل بالماشية إلى المرعى. مرة here means one time. One time. مرة, one time. ذهب الرجل, the man went, بالماشية, with the cattle, إلى المرعى, to the pasture. فبعد في طلب الشجر والعلف. فبعد. بعد here, it means so he went far away. بعد. He traveled like a bigger distance. بعد. He went away far. في طلب, in seeking. Like we have the word talib. Talib al-ilm, meaning a student of knowledge, one who seeks knowledge. Not just one who sits in a class or plays this audio in the background while they do laundry or cook or, play solitaire or something crazy. But they actually sit in there looking for it. They go online and they download or sit there, print out the paper and whatever they do. Any type. Talib al-ilm is not one who is not the student just sitting in the classroom with a pencil in his hand. Rather, Talib al-ilm is the one who's paying attention, seeking knowledge, searching after the haqq, right? So, فَبَعُدَ فِي طَلَبِ الشَّجَرِ. So he went far in looking for and searching for a shajar, for the trees. وَالْعَلَفِ. And this alaf comes from ayn, lam, fa, meaning father, meaning the food that the cattle would eat, right? A shajar, they eat from the trees and the bushes, as well as the alaf, the fodder, the grass and whatever else that they might eat, the weeds and stuff, right? Fodder. Alaf is fodder. I'm saying it like an Arabic word for some reason. Fodder. فَتَأَخَّرَ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ. From alif kha ra, meaning ta'akhara means to be late. Ta'akhara, to be late. فَتَأَخَّرَ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ. So he was late that day. فَرَجَعَ إِلَى الْبَيْتِ وَقَدْ ذَهَبَ كَثِيرٌ مِنَ اللَّيْلِ. فَرَجَعَ, so he returned, إِلَى الْبَيْتِ, to the house. وَقَدْ ذَهَبَ كَثِيرٌ مِنَ اللَّيْلِ. And much of the night, كَثِيرٌ مِنَ اللَّيْلِ, that's basically a phrase here, much, a lot, مِنَ اللَّيْلِ, much of the night, قد ذهب had went, meaning much of the night was already over, right? It was late, right? So much of the night had already passed by, had already went. مرة ذهب الرجل بالماشية إلى المرعى. One time a man went with the cattle to the pasture. فبعد في طلب الشجر والعلف. So he went far away. He went a bigger distance than normal, basically, in looking for the trees and the fodder. فتأخر ذلك اليوم. So he was late that day. فرجع إلى البيت وقد ذهب كثير من الليل. And he went home, he went to the house, and much of the night had already passed. وانتظر أبوه وأمه طويلا. وانتظر, this is the same root as we had up here, ينتظرون. وانتظر, and he waited. أبوه. Abu here with the wow is showing us the file. وأمه, showing the file. They both waited. The father waited. وأمه, and his father waited. His father waited, and his mother waited. طويلا. طويل, from like the word tall, but here meaning a long time, right? A long time. طويلا. They waited what? A long time. وكان أبوه جائعا. وكانت أمه جائعة. And the father, or his father, was hungry. جائعا. Abu here is اسم كان مرفوع. والجائعا is خبر كان منصوب. كان أبوه جائعا. وكانت, the feminine of كان, أمه جائعة. Again, أمه with a dhamma being the اسم كان مرفوع. وجائعة خبر كان مفعول منصوب. So وانتظر أبوه وأمه طويلا. His mother, or his father and his mother, waited a long time. وكان أبوه جائعا وكانت أمه جائعة. And his father was hungry and his mother was hungry. ورقد أبوه ورقدت أمه بعد الانتظار طويل. رقد means to lay down and go to sleep, to sleep. ورقد, to sleep. رقد يرقد, 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 يرقد. رقد يرقد, to sleep. ورقد أبوه, the file here, the father went to sleep. ورقدت أمه, feminine of رقد, رقدت, right? And she went, who? أمه, she went to sleep. بعد الانتظار الطويل, after the long wait. الانتظار here means wait. انتظر ينتظرون, that's the verb. الانتظار is the noun, right? The waiting, right? The noun. بعد الانتظار الطويل, after the long wait. وانتظر أبوه وأمه طويلا وكان أبوه جاعيا وكانت أمه جاعية. His father and his mother waited a long time, and his father was hungry and his mother was hungry, and his father went to sleep. ورقد أبوه ورقدت أمه بعد الانتظار الطويل, and his father went to sleep and his mother went to sleep after the long wait. ورجع الرجل ودخل البيت. ورجع الرجل. الرجل, here's the file, and the man returned. رجع يرجع, to return. ودخل يدخل, and he entered what? He entered the house. مفعول به منصوب. He entered into the house. It's accusative. It's the object of the verb. فوجد أن أباه الشيخ قد رقد. فوجد, from واو جيم دال, وجد يجد, and he found. أن أباه. And here makes the noun following it mansub. So it isn't أبوه. marfu with a waw. It's mansub with an alif here. Abahu. Wajada an abahu. He found that his father, a sheikh here is a badal. It's a supplement or a substitute for abahu. Right? So it's mansub in the same way. A sheikh, he found that his father, the sheikh, qad raqada, had went to sleep. This qad just is there for showing that it surely happened. His father went to sleep. Wa anna ummahu, right? Wa anna ummahu, and this should be anna as well. This should not be an. This should be anna because an comes before verbs. An with a sukoon on the noon comes before verbs, while anna comes before nouns, and abba is a noun. فَوَجَدَ أَنَّ أَبَاهُ. So let's fix that. فَوَجَدَ أَنَّ أَبَاهُ. But it's the same, an and anna have the same function. The word following them becomes mansub, right? وَوَجَدَ أَنَّ أَبَاهُ. Let me fix that there. أَنَّ أَبَاهُ الشَّيْخَ قَدْ رَقَدَ. So he found that his father, the sheikh, had went to sleep. وَأَنَّ أُمَّهُ. And again, anna showing this meme has a fatah on it because it's mansub after anna. Al-ajuz. Al-ajuz is what we call an old woman. An old man, we call him sheikh. An old woman, we say al-ajuz. So the old woman. قَدْ رَقَدَتْ. She had went to sleep. وَرَجَعَ الرَّجُلُ وَدَخَلَ الْبَيْتِ. And the man returned and entered the house. وَوَجَدَ أَنَّ أَبَاهُ الشَّيْخَ قَدْ رَقَدَ. And he found that his father, the sheikh, had went to sleep. وَأَنَّ أُمَّهُ الْعَجُوزَ قَدْ رَقَدَتْ. And he found that his mother, the old woman, she had went to sleep. فَتَأَسَّفَ الرَّجُلُ وَهَزَنَ كَثِيرًا وَنَدِمَ عَلَى تَأْخِيرِهِ. فَتَأَسَّفَ, we would look that up. Alif, Sin, Fa. We might know the word asif, like I'm sorry. And that's what this is. Ta'assafa. فَتَأَسَّفَ. So he was a rajulu, the file, with the dhamma here, showing it's marfu because it's the file. فَتَأَسَّفَ الرَّجُلُ. The man was sorry. وَحَزُنَ كَثِيرًا. حَزُنَ, and he was sad. كَثِيرًا, very sad. حَزَيْنُون. حَزُنَ كَثِيرًا, and he was sad. وَنَدِمَ عَلَى تَأْخِيرِهِ. Nadima from noon, dal, mim, meaning to regret. Nadima, to regret. Nadima yandamu. Yandamu for the present tense. Nadima yandamu. Right? He regretted ala ta'khirihi from ta'akhara. We had that before. Ta'khir would be his being late or being late. Ta'khir is postponement or being late. Ta'khirihi, his being late. Majroor after ala. Right? Hazuna kathiran. فَتَأَسَّفَ الرَّجُلُ وَحَزُنَ كَثِيرًا وَنَدِمَ عَلَى تَأْخِيرِهِ. So the man was sorry. وَحَزُنَ كَثِيرًا, and he felt very sad, or he was very sad. وَنَدِمَ عَلَى تَأْخِيرِهِ, and he regretted his being late. وَقَالَ أَسَفًا, and he said أَسَفًا, meaning he said sorrowfully. He said, in a way of being sorry. This is describing how he said it. أَسَفًا. This is how he said it. Asafan. He said it in a sorry and an apologetic tone. Inni ta'akhartu al-yawma. Verily I, ta'akhartu. I was late al-yawma. I was late today. Fil mar'a. In the pasture. Wa ba'udtu. And I went far. Fi talabi shajar wal alaf. In looking for the trees and the fodder. لِأَرْعَى, so that I could graze al-mashiyata, that I could graze the cattle. حتى رقد الشيخ ورقدت العجوز, until the sheikh went to sleep and the old woman went to sleep. Or we say the old man went to sleep and the old woman went to sleep. Right? He said, إني تأخرت. تأخر يتأخر. تأخرت, I was late. اليوم, right? Today. في المرعى, in the pasture. And mar'a is majroor, after fi, the harf jar. But we don't see the kasra here because this alif maksura prevents it. It prevents it. It never changes, right? Fil mar'a, right? Wa ba'udtu, right? And I went far away. I went far away. Fi talabi shajari wal arafi, and seeking for the trees and the father. Li ar'a, so that I may. Li is the same li, like lillah, for or so that I could graze al-mashiyata, mansub, mafulun bihi, because it's the object of what he is doing, the ar'a, he's doing his grazing them. Hatta raqada shaykhu, until the sheikh slept, or the old man slept, the fa'il marfu', right? He's the one who did the sleeping. وَرَقَدَتِ الْعَجُوزُ, she's the fa'il, they did the sleeping. This kasra here is for reading purposes because the sukoon here and the sukoon there, right? وَفَكَّرَ الرَّجُلُ هَلْ يُوقِظُ الشَّيْخَ وَالْعَجُوزَ. وَفَكَّرَ, from fa, kaf, ra. Form to contemplate something, right? To think about it, right? وَفَكَّرَ الرَّجُلُ, and the man, he thought, he contemplated. Hal, and this is a question word. Hal yuqidu, shall he wake up? From waw, qaf, dha, from to be awake, istayqid. We had this word before. Hal yuqidu ash-shaykha, well, shall he wake up the sheikh? Shall he wake up who? The sheikh. Wal ajuza, both of them maf'ulun bihi, mansub. Both of them the object of the verb, accusative, right? That's why the fatha's there. Shall he wake up the sheikh and the sheikha, wake up the old man and the old woman? وَكَرِيَ الرَّجُلُ أَنْ يُوقِدَ الشَّيْخَ وَالْأَجُوزَ. وَكَرِيَ, from kariha yakrahu, yakrahu, meaning to dislike something or to hate it. Yakrahu, right? Something being makruh, right? Makruh, disliked, right? وَكَرِهَ الرَّجُلُ, and the man disliked. And yuqida, and here we see the an making the yuqidu become yuqida. Here it was yuqidu because there was nothing in front of it to change it. And here is from those things which changes what comes after it, and it made it yuqida. And the man hated to wake a sheikha wal ajuza. He hated to wake the sheikh and the ajuz. Again, both of them maf'ulun bihi mansub. The object of the verb accusative. وَكَانَ أَهْلُهُ وَأَوْلَادُهُ يَنْتَظِرُونَهُ, and his family, أهله, his family, وَأَوْلَادُهُ, and his children, كَانَ, they were, يَنْتَظِرُونَهُ, they were waiting for him. وَكَانُوا جِيَاعًا, جِيَاعًا is the plural of جَاعِيًا, or جَاعِيًا, or ja'iyah that we had earlier. This is the plural. وَكَانُوا, they were, جِيَاعًا, they were hungry. فَطَلَبُوا, so they asked from him, they requested from him. مِنْهُ اللَّبَنَ, what did they request? اللَّبَنَ, مَفْعُولٌ بِهِ, mansub. So they requested from him the milk. وَلَكِنَّ الرَّجُلَ, الرجل, or lakin rather, is from those things like an and anna that make the noun following it mansub. It's from the akhawatu inna, right? And, wa anna, walakinna, they're from the akhawatu inna. Lakinna, but, ar-rajula, and it's only mansoob here because of lakinna, kariha, and yasqiya. Yasqi became yasqiya because of an, became mansoob. Walakin ar-rajula kariha an yasqi ahlahu. It's also mansoob because of the object of what he is providing to drink. Wa awladahu, same thing, the object of what he's providing to drink. But the man hated or disliked that he provide to drink for his family and his children qabla walidayhi, before his parents. Wa khafa Allah, and he feared Allah. Allah, lafzul jalala here, is the object of his fear, so it's mansoob. Waqal, and he said, Kayfa asqikum, how will I give you to drink? How will I pour for you? Walam asqihim, and I don't pour for them. I don't provide them to drink. Now here we see asqi with a kasra, with a ya. And here it's missing the ya. And that's because this lam is from those particles which make the noun following it majzoom. Or in Arabic, I think we say, in English, we say Joseph. Joseph, right? But basically, what we do is we cut off the last vowel or put a sukoon on it, right? So it becomes lam asqihim. Kayfa asqikum wa lam asqihim. How do I provide you to drink and I didn't provide for them to drink? Inni, verily I, idhan lamina. La, here this la here is a lam of emphasis. Inni, here, inna is emphasis. Inni, verily I, idhan, then, lamina dhalimin, verily then I will be from amongst the wrongdoers. If I feed you guys before I feed my parents, I'm going to be from the wrongdoers. We'll read that paragraph again. وَكَانَ أَهْلُهُ وَأَوْلَادُهُ يَنْتَظِرُونَهُ. And his family and his children were waiting for him. وَكَانُوا جِيَاعًا. And they were hungry. فَطَلَبُوا مِنْهُ وَلَبَنًا. And they requested or ordered or requested or sought from him the milk. وَلَكِنَّ الرَّجُلَ. But the man كَرِهَ أَنْ يَسْقِيَ أَهْلَهُ وَأَوْلَادَهُ قَبْلَ الْوَالِدَيْهِ. But he disliked or he hated that he provide his family and his children to drink before he provided for his parents. وَخَافَ اللَّهَ. And he feared Allah. وَقَالَ. And he said, كَيْفَ أَسْقِيكُمْ وَلَمْ أَسْقِهِمْ. How can I provide you guys to drink and I didn't give them to drink? Inni idhan lamina dhalimin. Verily I would then be from amongst the wrongdoers. وَحَلَبَ الرَّجُلُ الْمَاشِيَةَ. And the man milked. Halaba, to milk. Halaba, to milk. So the man milked al-mashiyata. He milked what? He milked the cattle. The object of the verb. Accusative. Maf'ulun bihi mansoob. So the man milked the cattle. وَوَقَفَ. And he stood. يَنْتَظِرُ. Waiting. أَنْ يَسْتَيْقِظَ أَبَوَاهُ. That his parents wake up. وَبَقِيَ وَاقِفًا. And he remained. بَقِيَ. بَقِيَ يَبْقَى. To remain. وَاقِفًا. And he remained standing. وَالْقَدَحُ. وَالْقَدَحُ. Al-qadah is a drinking vessel or a bowl that you would drink out of. عَلَى يَدِهِ. وَالْقَدَحُ على يده, and the bowl was basically in his hand. والأطفال, and the children, the young children. أطفال from the word tifl, the plural of tifl, to be a child, a young one. يبكون, and the children. يبكون from baka, يبكي, baka, يبكي, to cry. Sorry. يبكي, to cry. والأطفال يبكون, and the children were crying. ويصيحون, ويصيحون, you would look this up under صاد يا ha, but the root would be صاح يصيح. Yasihu, but you would look it up under Sad in the hands where Sad Ya Ha, right? Saha Yasihu, to scream and to cry and to scream out. Wal atfalu yabkuna wa yasihuna, inda qadamihi, the children were crying and screaming at his feet. Qadam, his feet. Qadamihi, at his feet. وَلَكِنَّهُ, but he, lam yasqihim. Again, our ya is missing because of the lam. But he didn't give them to drink. Shay'an, anything. Maf'ulun bi, didn't give them what to drink? Anything. Min al-qadahi, from the drinking bowl or vessel. وَلَمْ yashrab, and he didn't drink. And he didn't drink. وَبَاتَ قَائِمًا, and he spent the night. Bata yabitu. And I think we may have explained this in this book before, I'm not sure. Yabitu. Bata yabitu, to spend the night. That's where we get the word bait from. The bait is where you spend the night. Not necessarily where you sleep, but where you spend the night. Right? As we said in the end of Surah Al-Furqan, when Allah says about those people who spend the night basically in prayer. He uses the word yabituna, right? They spend the night in prayer. They're not sleeping, but they're spending the night. وَبَاتَ قَائِمًا, and he spent the night قَائِمًا, standing. وَالْقَدَحُ عَلَى يَدِهِ, and the cup was in his, or the drinking bowl was in his hand. وحلب الرجل الماشية ووقف ينتظر أن يستيقظ أبواه, and the man milked the cattle and he stood waiting for his parents to wake up. وبقي واقفا والقدح على يده, and he remained standing, in the vessel, drinking vessel was in his hand. والأطفال يبكون ويصيحون عند قدمه, and the children were crying and screaming at his feet. وَلَكِنَّهُ لَمْ يَسْقِهِمْ شَيْئًا مِنَ الْقَدَحِ, but he did not give them anything to drink from the vessel. وَلَمْ يَشْرَبْ, and he didn't drink. وَبَاتَ قَائِمًا, and he spent the night standing up. وَالْقَدَحُ عَلَى يَدِهِ, and the drinking vessel was in his hand. وَطَلَعَ الْفَجْرُ, وَطَلَعَ الْفَجْرُ, طَلَعَ is to climb or to rise. الْفَجْرُ, Fajr rose. وَاسْتَيْقَظَ وَالِدَاهُ, and his parents. وَالِدَاهُ, marfu', they're the ones, the fa'il, they're the ones who woke up. فَقَدَّمَ الرَّجُلُ, قَدَّمَ is to present. قَدَّمَ with this form 2 here, with the shadda on the dal, from قَدِمَ يَقْدِمُ, قَدَّمَ يُقَدِّمُ, to present. فَقَدَّمَ الرَّجُلُ, so the man presented. لَهُمَا, to them two, or for them two. قَدَحَ اللَّبَنِ, the vessel of milk. He presented what? قَدَحَ اللَّبَنِ, مفعول به منسوب. قَدَحَ اللَّبَنِ مضاف مضاف إليه. So he presented to them the milk, the vessel of milk. فَشَرِبَا, Them two drank. And this is when you have to learn sarf. So you have shariba, right? Sharibat. And you have sharibat, sharibta, sharibti, sharibtu, and all that. But when we talk about the dual, he drank, she drank, shariba. Put that aleph on the end. Shariba becomes them two drank. Sharibata. If it was two girls, you would say sharibata. Right? Them two drank. Right? So shariba. So them two drank. Thumma saqa awladahu. And then he gave to drink to his children. Saqa, past tense. Awladahu. He gave who? He gave to drink who? His children. Manfulun bihi mansub. Object of the verb, accusative, right? وَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْ هَذَا الرَّجُلِ. And indeed, رَضِيَ اللَّهُ, Allah was pleased, عَنْ هَذَا الرَّجُلِ, with this man. Right? عَنْ هَذَا, هَذَا is majroor. But because it is mabni, it never changes, right? It never ever changes. Never find hada, hadu, hadi. It's always hada. And rajul is a badal or a substitute for it. Then it's going to take the same ruling. So it has that kasr there. An hada rajul. We could say radiyallahu an ar-rajul. Allah was pleased with the man. But we say with this man, right? An hada rajuli. Alladhi, who or which. Kana barran, again typo, barran, who was righteous, bil walidain, with his parents. Radiyallahu an hadha al-amali as-salihi. Allah was pleased with this righteous action, al-amal as-salih, with this action, right? As-salih, righteous action. Wa qabilahu, qabila yaqbalu, qabila yaqbalu, meaning to accept. Yaqbalu. And he accepted it. Radiyallahu an hadha al-amal as-salih wa qabilah. Allah was pleased with this righteous action and he accepted it. ومرة كان هذا الرجل البر ماشيا في الليل. ومرة, and one time, كان هذا الرجل, this man was, this righteous man, الرجل البر, this righteous man was ماشيا, he was walking في الليل, at night, or in the night. فرأى غارا, so he saw, ra'a yara. We had that before. Fara'a gharran. So he saw a cave, like Ghar al-Hira, right? Fara'a gharran. So he saw a cave. Alaykum salam. Faqala, and he said, Abitu layla. I'm going to spend the night. Abitu al-layla. I'm going to spend tonight. Al-layl, tonight. I'm going to spend tonight في هذا الغار, in this cave. وأخرج في الصباح, and get out, I will leave out in the morning. ودخل الغار ليبيت, and he entered the cave li, for or in order to, yabit. This lam makes it mansub, in order to spend the night. وَدَخَلَ الْغَارَ لِيَبِيتَ, and he entered the cave in order to spend the night. فَانْحَدَرَتْ صَخْرَةُ مِنَ الْجَبَلِ. فَانْحَدَرَتْ, from ha, dal, ra. But this form 7 means to slide down, to slip, to glide or slide down. فَانْحَدَرَتْ صَخْرَةٌ, but a rock, sakhra, a big rock. Sakhra is a big rock. انحدرت, it slid down min al-jabal, from the mountain. فَسَدَّتْ عَلَيْهِ الْغَارِ. فَسَدَّتْ from sin dal. Sadda yasuddu, meaning to block something. Right? To block something. فَسَدَّتْ عَلَيْهِ الْغَارِ. So it blocked upon him the cave, meaning now he was trapped inside the cave. فَدَاعَ اللَّهَ. So he called upon Allah. He supplicated to Allah. Who did he call upon? Allah. Lafzul jalala mansub maf'ulun bihi. It's accusative object of the verb. فَدَاعَ اللَّهَ بِهَذَا الْعَمَلِ الصَّالِحِ. With this righteous action, meaning he used this righteous action as a means of tawassul, a means of seeking nearness to Allah, hoping that he would, if, because of this righteous action, then Allah would help him. وَقَالَ, and he said, Allahumma, O Allah, in kunta ta'lamu anni fa'altu dhalika. In kunta, if you were, ta'lamu, if you were to know, O Allah, anni, that I, fa'altu, I did, dhalika, I did that, ibtigha'a wajhika, seeking your face. From, you would look this up, you would look up this word under ba, ghain, ya. Right? Ba, ghain, ya. In its form 7. Right? Baghya. Ibtagha yabtaghi. Meaning to seek something, to hope for something, to love and want for something. Anni fa'altu dhalika. I did that. Ibtigha'a wajhika. In seeking for your face. Fakshif. From kaf, sheen, fa, to uncover or to expose. And here it's a command. Ikshif. Ikshif. But he's a command from someone lower to someone higher. We do not call that a demand or a command. Rather, we call that a supplication, a dua. So he says, fakshif. Just like when we say, Allahumma gfirli. Right? Oh Allah, forgive me. We use the word igfirli, to forgive me. However, it's a command. However, we're not commanding Allah, we're actually asking him. Right? So when they talk about commands, we have someone high and someone in the middle and someone low. If someone high is commanding someone low, it's called a command. Right? If someone is commanding on the same level as him, it's like a suggestion. If he's going up above him, then it's a supplication or a request. Right? Fakshif hadhihi sakhra. Then expose this sakhra. Move it. Get rid of it. Right? Remove it. Unveil it. Uncover it. Hadihi, even though we pronounce it hadihi, it's mansub, because hadihi is mabni, it never changes. Fakshif what? Fakshif hadihi. This is the object of the verb, mansub. But sakhra is a substitute for it, a badal. And so it's going to carry that fatha. It's going to be mansub, and in the way the word is sakhra, it's able to be apparent and clear the fatha there. فَأَجَابَ اللَّهُ from Jim Waw Ba, right? But here form 4 to answer. فَأَجَابَ اللَّهُ دَعْوَةَ هَذَا الرَّجُلِ. So Allah answered the call. He answered what? The dua, the call, the supplication. هَذَا is majroor. But it doesn't say, we never say hadhu or hadi, right? It's always going to be hadha. It's mebni. Da'wata hadha. He answered the call or supplication of this. Rajul is the badal of this man, and we're able to see the kasr on it. Right? We're able to see the jar on it. فَأَجَابَ اللَّهُ دَعْوَةَ هَذَا الرَّجُلِ الصَّالِحِ. Salih is a adjective. and it's agreeing with rajul, right? So al-rajul is alif lam, has alif lam. It's masculine is masculine. It's singular, it's singular. It's majroor, it's majroor. The noun and adjective must have agreement in all of these. It must have agreement in definiteness or indefiniteness, alif lam or not, right? It must have agreement in case, whether it's majroor, marfu', mansub, or majzoom. It must have agreement in, or not majzoom, because there's no majzoom in nouns. It must have agreement in masculine and feminine. It must have agreement in singular, dual, and plural. And here we see that. فَأَجَابَ اللَّهُ دَعْوَةَ هَذَا الرَّجُلِ الصَّالِحِ. So Allah answered the call of this righteous man. وَأَعَانَهُ. أَعَانَهُ from aun. Right? نَسْتَعِينُ. The same word. نَسْتَعِينُ. We seek your help. Your own. وَأَعَانَهُ. And he helped him. This is story taken from the famous hadith of Tawassul, where the man did this, and there was 3 of them actually trapped in a cave, and every time one of them made dua with their righteous actions, then the rock moved a little more, until after the 3rd one it moved all the way and they were escaped. And inshallah ta'ala, there are many lessons from this story, but we can't cover them all. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is to cover the reading. So we're going to read it real quick, paragraph by paragraph or sentence by sentence, and translate it without the grammar explanations, inshallah. كان رجل له أبوان كبيران وأولاد صغار. There was a man, he had 2 older parents and younger children. وكان برا بالوالدين, and he was righteous to the parents. شفيقا على الأولاد, compassionate upon the children. وكان يذهب كل يوم في الصباح إلى المرعى, and he used to go every day in the morning to the pasture. ويرعى الماشية, and he would graze the cattle. ويرجع بها في العشاء, and he would return with them in the night. فيحلبها ويسقي والديه وأولاده الصغار, and he would milk them, and he would give his parents and his young children to drink. وكان أبواه وأولاده الصغار ينتظرون قدومه, and his parents and his young children used to wait for his arrival. ولا ينامون حتى يحضر الرجل, and they wouldn't sleep until the man arrived. ويسقيهم اللبن, and he would pour for them milk to drink. مرة ذهب الرجل بالماشية إلى المرعى. One time the man went with the cattle to the grazing place. فبعد في طلب الشجر وعرف, so he went far in seeking the trees and the fodder. فَتَأَخَّرَ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ, so he was late that day. فَرَجَعَ إِلَى الْبَيْتِ وَقَدْ ذَهَبَ كَثِيرٌ مِنَ اللَّيْلِ, so he returned to the house and much of the night had went. وَانْتَظَرَ أَبُوهُ وَأُمُّهُ طَوِيلًا, and his mother and his father and his mother waited for him a long time. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُ جَاعِيًا وَكَانَتْ أُمُّهُ جَاعِيَةً, and his father was hungry and his mother was hungry. وَرَقَدَ أَبُوهُ وَرَقَدَتْ أُمُّهُ بَعْدَ الْإِنْتِظَارِ الطَّوِيلِ, and his father went to sleep and his mother went to sleep after the long wait. وَرَجَعَ الرَّجُلُ وَدَخَلَ الْبَيْتِ, and the man returned and he entered the house. فَوَجَدَ أَنَّ أَبَاهُ الشَّيْخَ قَدْ رَقَدَ, and he found that his father, the sheikh, the old man, had went to sleep. وَأَنَّ أُمَّهُ الْعَجُوزَ قَدْ رَقَدَتْ, and that his mother, the old woman, had went to sleep. فَتَأَسَّفَ الرَّجُلُ, so the man was sorry. وَحَزُنَ كَثِيرًا, and he was very sad. وَنَدِمَ عَلَى تَأْخِيرِهِ, and he regretted his being late. وَقَالَ آسَفًا, and he said in a sorry manner, إِنِّي تَأَخَّرْتُ الْيَوْمِ فِي الْمَرْعَى, verily I was late, I was delayed, I was late in the pasture. فَبَعُدْتُ فِي طَلَبِ الشَّجَرِ وَالْعَلَفِ, and I went far in seeking the trees and the fodder. لِأَرْعَ الْمَاشِيَةَ, in order that I graze the cattle. حَتَّى رَقَدَ الشَّيْخُ وَرَقَدَتْ الْعَجُوزُ, until the old man went to sleep and the old woman went to sleep. وَفَكَرَ الرَّجُلُ, and the man thought, هَلْ يُوقِدُ الشَّيْخَ وَالْعَجُوزَ, should he wake up the old man and the old woman? وَكَرِيَ الرَّجُلُ أَنْ يُوقِدَ الشَّيْخَ وَالْعَجُوزَ, and the man hated that he wake up the old man and the old woman. وَكَانَ أَهْلُهُ وَأَوْلَادُهُ يَنْتَظِرُونَهُ, and his wife and his children, his family and his children were waiting for him. وَكَانُوا جِيَاعًا, and they were hungry. فَطَلَبُوا مِنْهُ اللَّبَنَ, so they requested from him, they asked from him the milk. وَلَكِنَّ الرَّجُلَ كَرِهَ أَنْ يَسْقِيَ أَهْلَهُ وَأَوْلَادَهُ قَبْلَ وَالِدَيْهِ, but the man hated that he give to drink his family and his children before his parents. فَخَافَ اللَّهَ, وَخَافَ اللَّهَ, and he feared Allah. وَقَالَ, and he said, كَيْفَ أَسْقِيكُمْ وَلَمْ أَسْقِهِمْ, how will I feed you or give you to drink, and I didn't give them to drink? إِنِّي إِذًا لَمِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ, verily I would then be from the wrongdoers. وَحَلَبَ الرَّجُلُ الْمَاشِيَةَ, and the man, he milked the cattle. وَوَقَفَ يَنْتَظِرُ, and he stood waiting, أَنْ يَسْتَيْقِظَ أَبَوَاهُ, that his parents wake up. وَبَقِيَ وَاقِفًا, and he stood standing, or he remained standing. وَالْقَدَحُ عَلَى يَدِهِ, and the drinking vessel was in his hand. وَالْأَطْفَالُ يَبْكُونَ وَيَصِيحُونَ عِنْدَ قَدَمِهِ, and the children were crying and screaming at his feet. وَلَكِنَّهُ لَمْ يَسْقِهِمْ شَيْئًا مِنَ الْقَدَحِ, but he didn't give them anything to drink from the vessel. وَلَمْ يَشْرَبْ, and he didn't drink. وَبَاتَ قَائِمًا, and he spent the night standing. وَالْقَدَحُ عَلَى يَدِهِ, and the drinking vessel was in his hand. وَطَلَى الْفَجْرُ, and Fajr rose. وَاسْتَيْقَظَ وَالِدَاهُ, and his two parents woke up. فَقَدَّمَ الرَّجُلُ لَهُمَا قَدَحَ اللَّبَنِ, so the man presented to them too the vessel of milk. فَشَرِبَا, so they drank. ثُمَّ سَقَى أَوْلَادَهُ, and then he gave to drink for his children. وَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْ هَذَا الرَّجُلِ, and Allah was pleased with this man. الَّذِي كَانَ بَرًّا بِوَالِدَيْنِ, who was righteous to his parent, righteous to the parents. رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْ هَذَا الْعَمَلِ الصَّالِحِ وَقَبِلَهُ, and Allah was pleased with this righteous action and he accepted it. وَمَرَّةً كَانَ هَذَا الرَّجُلُ الْبَرُّ, and one time this righteous man was ماشيا في الليل, he was walking at night. فَرَأَى غَرًّا, so he saw a cave. فَقَالَ أَبِيتُ اللَّيْلَ فِي هَذَا الْغَارِ, I'm going to spend tonight in this cave. وَأَخْرُجُ فِي الصَّبَاحِ, and get out in the morning. وَدَخَلَ الْغَارَ لِيَبِيتَ, and he entered the cave in order to spend the night. وَانْحَدَرَتْ صَخْرَةٌ مِنَ الْجَبَلِ, but a big stone slipped or slid down from the mountain. فَصَدَّتْ عَلَيْهِ الْغَارِ, and it closed upon him the cave. فَدَعَ اللَّهَ بِهَذَا الْعَمَلِ الصَّالِحِ, so he called upon Allah using this righteous action. وَقَالَ, and he said, Allahumma, O Allah, in kunta ta'lamu, if you know from me, أني فعلت ذلك, I did that, ابتغاء وجهك, seeking your face, فاكشف هذه صخرة, then remove this stone, فأجاب الله دعوة هذا الرجل الصالح. So Allah answered the supplication of this righteous man, وأعانه, and He helped him. With that, we conclude this lesson. Ikhwan wa akhawat, I hope that you are able to benefit, and I hope I didn't do too little by passing over some words which I felt that we have done before, or I did too much by making it either too complicated or just keep explaining it even though I've already done it. But hopefully the repetition will assist us in learning the Arabic language, and hopefully that you can print this out and you can feel good about when you go back and read these stories. Just because you've reached story or reading 16, go back and read story 1 again and see how much you remember. Story 2, see how much you remember, so on and so forth. And just keep reading these things over and over. How many times do you read to your children the same book at night before bed, and they never get tired of that same story? They want to hear that same story. The same thing for us. It's going to imprint in our minds these words and these ideas, inshallah ta'ala. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.